blocks from what? From us.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're just
I
really.
tried to find your house and I got lost.
Okay,
Mhm.
put it in
I forgot
GPS.
how to get there.
Put the GPS.
Yes.
You just plug it in and let it tell you.
Yeah, you know me.
You know,
It's a miracle I can drive a car.
but
I am so challenged.
I'm sorry. Put it in GPS or in maps.
I have to learn how to use my GPS.
You need a
I can
Tesla.
learn. I can
You
teach
need a Tesla that's
Oh,
self-driving, and
right.
then you put the address in, and you
I-
close your eyes and
You
let
heard
it
the
drive.
story about after I turned in Ty's car,
No,
what happened?
no. Pray tell.
They sold it. The bank sold
And
his car.
Gary's online also.
And they got 15,000 more than value.
Okay, we're taping.
And they sent the 15,000 to me.
Oh,
Oh, I don't mind that.
wow.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's BMO Harris Bank. But the problem is they sent it to Ty. They didn't even put deceased after it. So now I've got to go through probate.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
Ah,
You came.
now that's bright and yellow. Yes, it is.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Bechaverim.
Some people here with
I
us.
take
Did
full
you get
credit.
something in the mail for me? On your-
Okay, fellow Israelites, who for
I got
grape
all-
juice?
I need some more wine.
Grape juice? Mom.
I'm sorry.
You know
we-
what? You should have told me.
Yeah,
I
no,
have so much at home. I would have brought it.
You know,
You know, it's
You need wine?
wine or grape?
Okay, grape juice?
wine.
Grape juice,
For
anybody?
your husband.
Here.
Is it?
That's
What
wine.
is that?
I asked for
Grape juice.
Oh, sorry.
Wine for Theo.
And for Anita,
Wine.
two,
In vino
A
veritas.
real wine.
dame, y el otro.
No, I was
El
just
otro
trying to make
cacique.
something funny.
Otro mío.
Okay.
I drank from.
Thank you.
Real wine, got it.
The other wine.
Yes.
I've been to that winery, Kate.
Did you send me last year's program again?
Anybody else?
I'm sorry.
I asked you
ma'am.
to
Where's
send
the
a
case?
message to you to please send it
Columbia.
to me
She
again.
went to take.
Because
Oh,
I lost
right,
it, I
right,
can't
right.
find it.
And Raquel was with her.
Would you anyway? Yeah, because I can't write the new one without knowing what horrible things I said before. I wanted to do exactly the opposite this year.
Okay, fellow Israelites, we are here. Thank
Well, I
you
tried
for
with my
the
other thing, it didn't turn out.
What you said.
Well, I'll just do the opposite, like whatever it is.
Wine.
I know, you know.
Okay, you want juice?
No, I said it tastes terrible.
It's sangria.
Yeah, I know.
You don't like it?
No, never mind.
It's my Costco
It's sangria.
sangria.
Sangria from Cuba.
Now,
Shabbat teaches us that all life is sacred, that all our work and joy can be dedicated to God. And then we find the truest happiness in serving the eternal one. Let us praise God with a symbol of joy, as we express gratitude for all the blessings of the past week, for our lives, for our homes, for our loved ones and friends, for the happiness that has come to us from our efforts. Have ennobled us by the blessings of work, and have given us the gift of Shabbat rest, as it is written in the Torah, 6 days shall you labor for your work, but the seventh day Shabbat to be devoted to the eternal God. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri harafim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzah b'nu. V'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu, zikaron le'maseh b'reishit. Ki hu yom tehillah, le'mikrat kodesh, zecher Messiah Mitzrayim. Ki Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh and have a wonderful chocolate chip collar, part of the Cukierkorn purchase collection.
Oh, yes, yes.
So I bought, I don't know how many I bought, 20, some of them.
Good.
Good deal. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
You're getting coordinated. I'm really watching this. This is, you're learning how to run this machine.
Sunday is.
Yeah, I'm trying. Finally. No, no, see.
Well, think of happy
Is it
times.
nice? The second.
Oh,
Think of the
Why
happy
not?
times.
Yeah. I do.
After this.
Where's the little trash can?
Oh, I have 7 people online. Gary,
That's too
that's it. Everybody else, my brother.
Oh, she's trading. How's that?
I have 8.
is that Red Alpha over there? Yeah. Looks like it.
Oh,
It's him.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll take a big chunk.
Is that chocolate?
Rodolfo, hello.
Where's the trash can?
I'm selling your program here.
I don't know.
somebody wants more.
I do.
And you?
Thank you, Young.
Thank you. I've already got 2 votes.
Nobody gets to vote.
You don't get to vote. You're only a rabbi.
Trash. Trash. Trash.
You forgot about the trash.
It's okay. You didn't need it until now.
No,
Maybe
but
I'll get some
I
water.
came before everyone.
Maybe the- Okay, well, we're gonna dock
The
your
next,
pay.
the next time.
We'll dock your pay.
The next time is,
You do it one more time, we'll write you up.
if Dennis will not be here, I will remember.
Are you going
How's
home?
your baby dog?
Anymore in my house.
You
I
don't have him
I
anymore?
couldn't deal with him.
Why?
I brought him with 4 months. He was 6 months and I couldn't. deal
6
with
weeks.
What's
Puppies are
6
hard.
weeks?
It's very, it was very hard.
What?
What is 6
very
weeks?
The dog was 6 weeks. She brought him from-
stubborn, clean. My house is
Well.
clean. And he pee in the
You
bath.
put pads down, didn't you?
I put that, of course.
Yeah.
Except it was too small to
cat
be
was
considered a
here,
real
and he
dog.
got it here. No, I couldn't.
Yeah. What'd you do with him?
I gave him to somebody what I know.
Joyce,
Hello,
Hello. Wine?
hello, look at you, you look good.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I have Pseudomonas,
Oh, my goodness.
so I'm on heavy duty
I
antibiotics.
guess you are.
Levaquin.
Where is it?
Same place,
Oh.
still there, won't go away. Or it's disgusting. It just,
I know, it's miserable for you.
yeah.
It require a lot of care.
So I have a nurse come,
I like your idea about
It's okay, it's okay.
Jamaican
3
restaurant.
times if I don't go. to the doctor.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rabbi was asking if it was a dangerous area.
No, what do you
It's
mean
one level,
dangerous? It's lovely.
I talked to him.
below.
No, he doesn't, listen, he can't go north, he can't go north of 125th Street without getting nervous.
But the doctor, I've got this new doctor.
No, it's just fine.
Had him now
It's fine.
6 weeks.
It's always been a very nice area.
Well, let's see who's going tonight.
But
No,
it's
if you
more,
want.
I was
more
thinking,
he's a good
you know,
doctor rather than-
You wanna go check it out, not necessarily tonight, but.
No, let's
Yeah,
go.
And I
That-
had
You told me
confidence
that
in
the
the
money
others,
is going
they-
to Haiti,
they didn't do anything.
to their bank
Well,
account,
half-
to their bank
So of
account in
course,
Haiti.
Yeah,
Let's go there.
This is
well, that's what the owner is saying, is
getting
that,
better
you know,
that quickly.
they're,
So
sending half
Wednesday
of
when I went to see
everything
him.
that, you know.
There's some last
Did you
year,
meet him?
keep it all
No,
wrapped.
I just saw it on the news.
Este es el mío.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've been there several times.
I think they have Ethiopian food there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got.
Let's go.
Caribbean.
Okay, people are walking here. Hopefully this will work.
Sure.
Okay, follow Israelite, put the shoulder roll. Put the shoulder roll.
When I do the jabbering tonight, okay, I'll do the jabbering tonight. See if I can do it right. The audience.
You're gonna be there?
Yeah. Testing,
All right, let's be.
testing,
Let's please.
testing. Testing. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm glad that I'm behind the speakers with all that popping and crackling. It actually makes me jump.
I think we can take ours off.
Yeah.
It's really cold here.
Oh,
Okay, is it working? Hello. Okay, good.
Hello, hello.
Okay, and I hope the people on Facebook can hear me as well. Oh. Okay. No. Okay, so Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
From you, the usual. And as we do in this temple, start by asking if you have anything new, anything good happened to you, and above all, what have you done this week to make the world a better place? What have you done to make a difference in somebody else's life? Whoever it is, don't do that online. That doesn't
It's
make people's lives
probably a
better.
loose connection.
So, yes. Who's that? Wow, congratulations. Anybody else? Anybody else making a difference in the world?
sure. I donated a boatload of money to the environmental causes and asked the retirement to send it to them, and have tried to teach Anita how to use her new phone without enough patience to be proud of. But yeah, that's and I forgot to bring all the food we had sitting here for Joyce to take to the pantry, which I forgot. But we'll get it here
You get
next week,
Good.
week after, sometime.
Anybody else? George, you always make the world better. What have you done?
Well, the things that are done on the computer, but also where the Federation or Jewish Federation is collecting for Haiti, and the other what I would suggest make sure your money legitimate people to be in there.
Right.
Also, we're signing people up to, to our program. We're teaching them, how to do the sign-ups online. It's not very exciting, it's kind of boring, but it's necessary because the state of Missouri lost in court, and now has to do the Medicaid expansion that we voted in. That was supposed to start the 1st of July. So they have, they're stalling now and saying it will take them 2 months to set it up. So in those 2 months, we decided to use that and getting people signed up to be able to, go on the Medicaid expansion.
Excellent. More for it. Okay, and then happy note, we will start on page 6. Someone knowledge, page 6. We turn now probably to page 7 of the Kindling of Sabbath Lights, as I'd like to invite Pat McKenna. Doing a great mitzvah by moving closer to us.
Come, let us welcome Shabbat. May its radiance warm our hearts as we kindle these tapers.
Light is the symbol of God's presence in our lives. The eternal one is our light and our salvation.
Light is the symbol of the holiness within each of us. The human spirit is the light of God.
Light is the
Light
symbol
is the symbol of Torah's teachings, for the commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is a light.
Light is the symbol of Israel's mission, as it is written, I have made you a covenant people to serve as a light to the nations.
Therefore, the spirit of our ancient tradition empowers the parents of Israel in all lands and all ages to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Squeeze and press at the same time. What does it? Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehavlik ner shel Shabbat. We praise our eternal God, creator of the universe, who hallows our lives through laws and ethical teachings. We are mindful of these timeless values as we kindle the lights of Shabbat.
May God bless us with Shabbat. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Amen.
Hard as it is to believe, this is the third Sabbath of the month. So we move to the third service, to be found on page 56. 56. Creator of the universe, we have come together on this Shabbat to affirm your presence in our lives and to offer our prayers of thanksgiving. The week of toil has ended, the time of rest has come. You have given us the blessing of labor, so that by our work we may fashion things of use and beauty, and the fruits of our labor be acceptable to you.
May each new Shabbat with us from strength to strength, so that your guiding spirit may be inspired to ever worthier endeavors. Make us conscious of our intentions and the opportunities for service that you have put in our hands. Bless our blessings and excel us for the benefit of others, so that the lives of many may not be made better than the work of our hands.
Top of the next page, we've been told what is good and what God expects of us. To do justly,
To love mercy, to love.
Have we not all one Creator? Did not one God make us all?
Why do we behave derisively, separating one against the other?
Proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all the inhabitants thereof.
Let justice from others, righteousness like a mighty spirit.
Now we turn to page 59 as we rise from the Barichu invitation to prayer. Barichu et Adonai Morav. Praise eternal God, who all praise is due.
Let us praise the eternal God, to all praise is due.
Page 60. Oh God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, and yet are farther than the most distant star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of the night, and yet are as familiar to us as the light of the sun. Even to Moses you said, you cannot see my countenance, but I'll make all my goodness pass before you. Thus, does your goodness pass before us, in the realm of nature and the varied experiences of our lives. Next page.
When justice burns like a flaming fire within us, when love is willing sacrifice from us, when to the last the whole measure of selfless devotion, we proclaim our beliefs in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness. We are truly doing your will. You live in our hearts, even as you pervade our world. Through righteous action, we offer living testimony of your presence.
Together we affirm on page 62. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the eternal is our God, the eternal God is one. Baruch Hashem Elohim. Let us praise God who rules in glory forever and ever. Care to join me in the Hebrew Ve'ahavta on page 63. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Eloheh v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayim harim ahem asher ani tzavcha hayom al dvarecha v'shinamtam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'beitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וכשבשבת על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, ותפסם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Continue praying responsibly on page 65. All these we hold to be true and sure, but only one God, and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice at God's light and exalt in God's justice.
Let them be their swords into plowshares, their spears into pruning hooks.
The nation that swords and nations,
shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
the stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal. You strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God.
Eternal and defends the poor and upholds rights and need.
The people of Israel shall preserve the Sabbath. Observing the Sabbath throughout the generations is a perpetual covenant. It is a bond between God and the people of Israel forever.
Those who observe Shabbat and call it a delight will rejoice. The people of Hello Shabbat delight in your goodness, for being pleased with the seventh day, you made it the most precious of days, a day of gratitude for the work of creation.
Page 68.
Page 68.
Grant, O God, that we may lie down in peace, and that we may rise up again to life. Spread over His counsel. He is a shield about us, fortifying us against hatred and war, against pestilence and sorrow. Current within us the inclination to do evil, in fullness in the embrace of your love. Guide our going out and coming in to life and peace, from this time forth and forever. Praise you, God. You shelter us all who will.
Now, on page 69, we rise from the Amidah. Still. We praise you, God of our mothers and fathers, God of Abraham, God of Sarah, God of all generations. You bestow loving kindness on all your people. You remember the devotion of those who came before us. As you guided our ancestors with love, you offer hope to us, their descendants. You are our creator and helper, our guide and protector. We praise you, eternal God, shield of Abraham and help of Sarah. The next page.
Infinite is your power, grant and loving kindness to sustain the world. In the endless flow of your blessings, to preserve all the way. Heal all the fallen, heal the sick, create captive and faith your people, death and life. Who is like you on earth, life and death? We praise you, God, the source of eternal life.
Page 71. Source of all knowledge and wisdom, you have endowed with reason and understanding. We pray for the light of your truth, for insight into your ways, for the strength to banish from our hearts every unworthy desire. Forgive us our transgressions and pardon our failures. May those who have lost their way come to know your love again, that they may come to you with newness of heart.
Our God, our brothers and fathers, grant our worship of this time, acceptable to you. Sanctify us through your precepts, we may share the blessings of the Torah. Help us to be satisfied with the gifts of your goodness, and grant over all that you bestow. Purify our hearts that we may serve you in truth. May we preserve Shabbat, our people's heritage, and will never bring rest and joy, peace and comfort to our lives. Praise the eternal God, the sanctified Shabbat.
You may be seated. We continue on page 72. Creator of all the world, you have blessed us with noble powers. Teach us to make wise use of them. You have called us to be your partners in the never-ending work of creation. Thank you for the capacity to choose the path devoted to your service, dedicated to the well-being of those around us. Next page.
Help establish peace in our world. Let them cultivate that goodwill which may bring enduring peace. Let all nations realize that the triumphs of our nations, the justice and right are better than the conquest of aggression. May they come to see that it is not by might, not by power, by your spirit. Bless our land with plenty and our nation with peace. May righteousness abide with us and virtue bring us happiness. Blessed is our eternal God, our partners in prayer.
Page 74. Give thanks for the freedom that is ours, and we pray for those in other lands who are persecuted and oppressed, especially people in Afghanistan. Help them to bear their burdens and keep alive in them the love of freedom and the hope for deliverance. Hold the hands of our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel. Cause a new light to shine on Zion and on us all. And the time may come again, and the Torah will go forth from the house of Israel, the reward from the tent of Jacob. Blessed our God, whose presence gives life to our people. As it is our practice, we will turn before the silent prayer. We will turn the prayer to page 10. Before I'll tell you that Joyce, the great manipulator of this congregation, the one who works behind the scenes, is already saying how much we should be doing something to, when the time comes, if there are refugees that come here to Kansas City. Kansas City is a dumping ground for refugees for the government, and we should adopt Afghan family. I said, I am definitely in favor of that, especially if you can come one with a grandma that can make biryani. There should be something there for us. I never had Afghani food, but I'm counting on biryani. But I think seriously it would be a very cool thing to do. Really wonderful. Anyway, we'll continue with prayer for the sick. Page 10. Prayer invites God's presence to lift our spirits. It allows the blessing and gift of hope to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. Prayer can water an erring soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Shabbat, we pray for the fallen members of the congregation who share the anxiety of their illness: Marvin Aaron, Gary Kashner, Art Waltz, Mike Herman, Wayne Owen, Martha Katz, Louise Diana Bergson, mother of Dr. Bergson, my friend Robert Blau, Caleb's mom, Mary Russell, his uncle Richard Noblat, and her boyfriend Michael Damaris. And let's see, the Weekmans asked us to pray for Ann Martin, Howard Dukes, Roy Wenzel, Donna Vestal, Glenn, Christek, and Paul Turk. And Pat asked us to pray for Andy Becker, Bruce Becker, Rose Andu, Hannah Jackson, Barry Clark, and Colin Charles. Same ones as last week. Anybody else?
Philip Spark, Julie Sleeper, and Cesar Cruz. Stanley Cohen.
Jennifer Bowden, Connie Thomas, Sarah Starnes, and Fred. And well, I wanted to give you a report. I've always believed prayer works. Sarah's cancer of her thyroid is testing back. I know it's spread to her glands. And Fred, the last 2 weeks, his labs have shown that there's no cancer cells in his blood. He's getting chemotherapy and live.
Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom?
Rabbi, this is Summer. Sorry, I'm talking so loud.
Hi, Summer. Yes, that was the name.
I'd like to pray for my friend, Mrs. Toby.
Okay. Anybody else? I will continue on page 10.
We pray for all people who at this hour have sickness and want or distress of body or spirit. We name in our hearts those who are near to us and in whose pain we feel pain. Let them know your help and feel your presence, realizing they are not alone. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. We share all bless those that we are feeling with renewal of body, renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Pause now for a moment of silent prayer, using the words our hearts may count as of those found in our prayer books on page 74. So this week's Torah portion is sede in the Book of Deuteronomy. Interesting because it has no Torah portion has more laws, more halachot, more legal laws than this one. This one has the most. So, and many interesting ones, many valid ones about family and society. And then it has some who are kind of disturbing, especially to our modern sensibilities. Specifically, I'm thinking about the law related to the mamzer. Mamzer says, in Deuteronomy 23:3, it says, no one who's a mamzer, a misbegotten, shall be admitted into the congregation of the Lord. None of his descendants, even until the 10th generation, shall be admitted into the congregation of the Lord. So let me explain this to you. What's this misbegotten business? What's a mamzer? generally, if you grew up speaking Yiddish, and there'll be a kid who's like very slick, very rapid. Oh, he's such a mamzer. Or I would say, oh, John, the temple president, he's such a mamzer. You know, but what's a mamzer? A mamzer is not a pastor. I'll explain how Christians deal with it, and then I'll explain how Jews deal with it. Famous Brazilian joke about a young priest from the interior gets to São Paulo, to the big city, gets to the bus station, there's a cabbie there, the cabbie sees him, this is a simple guy, they'll take him to this place, begins going around town, round and around to beef up the bill. In the meanwhile, this priest, oh, you in the church, you're all hypocrites, you claim to serve Jesus, but you only care about yourselves, you only care about money, you are all rich, you all live beautiful lives, and people are poor. Right? Finally, he drops the priest at his destination, charges him like 4 times more than it should have been. And at the end, the priest turns to him and says, son, God bless you. I really heard what you said. Please bring your mom and dad here, and I'll marry them for free. Okay, so a bastard, we understand what a bastard is. A bastard is a child born out of wedlock. There is, I guess, some shame attached to it, although there's in history there have been many, many people who are bastards, and that basically means they have to deal with a little more difficulty to make it, because they, you know, in the traditional society, they were not on the top echelon. But you still can make it, and you know, and I'm sure with passing of time and generations, and especially acquiring money that get whitewashed, or in our days, nobody cares. Apparently, in places like Norway, 100% of children, first children at least, are born out of unwedded mothers. There's no need to, maybe having a child is time to get married in places like Denmark and Norway. But how does it work for Jews? A mamzer is not a bastard. A mamzer is a child who should have never been born. It's a child that should never be born, because it's the result of a relationship that is so odious to Judaism that child doesn't deserve to be born. Should have never been born. And mamzer is either a child of incest or of a woman having a child as a result of a relationship with a man older than her husband. And again, incest, that's rather uncommon. And then a woman having a kid with a man who's not her father, her husband. That's very complicated. That's where it gets complicated. Because well, why? In a world where there was no paternity test, it was crucial that a man would believe that the children he was raising were really his. This morning, as I was helped pack Denise's car with Dalia's junk to go to college. Then it didn't fit. Then I had to unpack, and then I had to empty my car and pack my car to get them to be able to go to Colombia, where Dalia last year, I spent $40,000 for her, among other things, take a course in flower arrangement. This better be my DNA. It's better enough if she's my DNA, let alone, you know, if she wouldn't. But today, no problem. Today, you do paternity tests. But in ancient days, you didn't. So a woman having a child with somebody other than her husband had in fact the power, the possibility of undoing society. And that's why in Judaism, the punishment for a mamzer is not just a passion like that. You know, like it's not nice or we look down upon them. No. They can never be full Jews. They can never be really part of the congregation. Furthermore, which means not only they cannot do that, but their children, and as it says in the Torah, even until the 10th generation. It's not that come the 10th generation you're okay, even then, which means forever. Okay, and why? Why such a? And then a mamzer can only marry a convert or another mamzer. Okay, probably would be a great business today to make a website, mamzer.com, where mamzers meet. Always looking for it. But really, it's a very bad thing. Clearly, it's a punishment that's so humongous that it's done so that a woman would not feel tempted to do this, less should be passing on. The presumption that a mother wants to do what's best for her children. However, what's the big problem with it, especially to our modern days? How can you not only punish, but punish so severely a child for something they didn't do? Right. So, very simple. Oh, how does this really happen? I'm going to explain to you in a minute. How does this really happen in real life? It happens all the time. Is in the reform movement, the conservative movement, they disregard us. They just don't pay attention. In the Orthodox world, is where things get complicated, because Orthodox rabbis have to either really follow the Torah, or at least make believe they're following the Torah. So this is actually, by the way, my argument is that Judaism is always reformed. They're always reformed, just that some people reform faster. So the issue of mamzer, there was a famous case in Israel, 1972, where there was brother and sister. The name was Hanoch and Miriam Langer, and they were ruled mamzering by the Israeli courts. When Miriam came to get married, she came to the court to have permission. They investigated her, and they told her, no, honey, you can't marry. You're a mamzer. What do you mean I'm a mamzer? You're a mamzer. How come she's a mamzer? It didn't matter the fact that she had been born in Israel, grew up in Israel, serving the Israeli army. It's just you're a mamzer. And this created a huge crisis, especially because in Israel nobody wants to rattle the boat, but they're a Roman society because they wanted to have civil marriage, which they don't have in Israel. So you need to be married by a religious authority, be Jewish, Christian, Muslim. So then comes in a guy who I think is a nice man. His name is Shlomo Goren, who then was the chief rabbi of the army, and it's soon to become the chief rabbi of Israel, or the Ashkenazi chief rabbi. There's two, right? Ashkenazi and Sephardi. And what happened was, what was the problem? The Langer kids, the mother had been married before to another guy. And that guy, and then she got divorced and married Mr. Langer, who came to Israel. That guy, by coincidence or by luck, had been converted to marry her. So when Shlomo Goren decided to get involved, things were really bad, right? Girls ruled the mamzer. It's a really bad thing. First time in Israeli history, somebody being ruled the mamzer. No good. Somebody's gonna get screwed. Okay, is it correct that the girl should get screwed? Who wants to get married? So what Shlomo Goren did is he found out that the first man's conversion really wasn't valid. Thus, he ruled mamzerut out of existence. He said, wait, if he wasn't really converted, he was just a goy. Being married to a goy doesn't make mamzering of the second case if she gets married the second time afterwards. So this is like a very legalistic, but it's the way he found a way to work it out. The guy who got screwed is the poor guy who got married to Ms. Langer the first time. And then he himself officiated the wedding, which is certainly a big deal for the girl. And Moshe Dayan then was minister of, I don't know, minister of whatever he was, even came to the wedding. So it had a happy ending. But this is to show you how when the rabbis want, they can reinterpret the law to. There's examples in history. This is amazing. As I said, being a mamzer is a really, really, really bad thing. So there were cases where guy goes on a trip. After a year that he's gone, the woman, his wife, gives birth to a child, and the rabbis rule that she had an extra lengthy pregnancy. Why? Because even talking about the Middle Ages. Why? Because they're willing to ignore biology to reinterpret a difficult law, to reinterpret out of existence. So I would assume, that all laws, when they're created with a specific time and context, a particular place.
So it's not followed anymore, it's outlived its usefulness.
Correct. I think our ethical standards of our days really don't allow for that. So,
No, the young lady that married,
okay.
did she
She was not.
She was able to marry this guy because he was goy instead of.
No. Go again. There's Miss Langer. That's the mother. When she was a young girl, she met this nice boy, and then she fell in love with him. And then he converted to marry her. That's probably her mom made him. I don't know. I wasn't there. And then they get divorced. Now she comes to Israel. She marries another guy, and they come to Israel. Then with the second husband, Mr. Langer, she has the 2 kids. But when the doctor shows up to get the registration to get married, she's told, no, you cannot marry because you are a mamzer. Because your mom was married to another Jewish guy before, and she never got a get. She never got a proper divorce. I forgot to mention that. That's it.
Oh, okay.
What the big deal in the Orthodox world has to do with making an appropriate gift. And then, whereas in the Reform Judaism, we consider, who do a
That's
gift.
truly the sense of the father and mother,
Right. And furthermore, it's a kind of a thing that is so hideous that that shame, that stain stays on that family and their descendants forever. So then I say, and as I tell you, and rabbis even are willing to ignore biology. So, and the laws are created at a specific time, and society evolves. It's lucky then that through the power of interpretation, the rabbis can rule these out of existence. Or as my teachers used to say in rabbinical school, when there's a rabbinical will, there is always a halachic, Jewish legal will.
So, I just need some clarification. If a young unmarried woman has a child with a young unmarried man, is that child a monster?
No, but if after she had a child with a guy, she goes and marries another guy, the subsequent children theoretically be mamzer for a very simple reason. Because in the Talmud, it says specifically, a wife is acquired through one of 3 ways. Through a chuppah, which is a public ceremony, to exchange of something of value, also, and through sexual intercourse. So theoretically, just by having sexual intercourse with somebody, you are married. If people know about it. And I guess people can do it on the down low, but when you have a child.
Yeah, so when she actually marries.
If there is a girl who's a single mother, and she now becomes an Orthodox Jew, and her child was born out of a relation with a Jewish guy, and she decides to get married, she needs to get a get from that.
She needs to get a divorce,
even though she was never married.
So their common law in most states, it's like 7 years if you live with somebody. So what in Judaism would be just if you slept with somebody one time.
And people know about
it.
Which means you told your friends. No, it's public.
Okay, does the young man in this unmarried relationship, do his children become monsters?
It never affects the men.
We're talking about. There's a guy in Brazil said something so interesting. I was listening to him yesterday that in Brazil society prohibits abortions. Why? And it's shameful. Why? Because women get pregnant. If men got pregnant, abortions would be done in cathedrals with angels singing. That's yet another aspect that makes traditional Jewish law unpalatable to our faith. Because theoretically, a man can have as many, at least 4 wives. It's just a woman. Okay. Anybody else has complaints, remarks, questions? Oh, good. In that case, we come to page 368. Oh, by the way, a side note, very interesting side note. This is going to really make the Marranos upset in Brazil. What's the big issue with Marranos? With, all the people who I work with, and many of them come to me and they say, "Oh, I don't want to convert. I'm already a Jew. My family stopped being Jewish. I want to be a Jew again." And then I explain to them that at least in a legalistic Jewish sense, not one that I share, but one that is part of Jewish law. And again, a law that I don't follow, but I feel obligated to give them my best possible explanation. The reason why Marranos, Marranos, people who are descendants of people who were forced to convert.
I thought they were considered convertios, but they're called Marranos.
They're called conversos or Marranos. The reason why these people must convert is that if they don't convert, there is the what's called safek mamzerut, the doubt of mamzerut over the whole community, because none of them can prove that their mothers only were married to the guys, the first husbands. If they were the result of second marriage, since they didn't have the benefit of gifting, then there is the doubt stands over the whole community. It basically means that a Jew could theoretically could never marry a converso, even if they convert. Or even if they rejoin Judaism. They convert, they can. Complicated, huh?
Yes.
That's why I wrote my thesis about that. Sometimes I can act like a lawyer. Since Dalia is not going to go to law school anymore to make me happy. Yes. Even though I'm paying all the money and carrying a luggage.
Follow-up question. So a young unmarried woman has a child with a married man. The child still moms her?
No.
Oh.
No, the mums is the guy that did it.
Yeah, sometimes the guy who. That was great. If she wasn't married, the only thing that matters is what's the status of the woman who had the child. It's even worse. The literature talks about eshet ish. Eshet ish means the woman of a man. She belongs to a man, to another man, then you're not supposed to go there. She doesn't belong to a man, then go ahead. That's fine.
Okay.
Understand? Again, the law is made for men, not for benefit men.
Like always, in every religion, every nationality.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, anyway, we'll continue now with the adoration as the president has something to say.
No, I'm just standing up for the adoration.
Oh, we should. See? Oh, okay, now we rise on page 268. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצאת הראשית שהוא שם תרתינו לאחד בשמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו.
Your glory is revealed in the heavens above, and your greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
Bow our heads in reverence before the eternal one, souls of all.
Therefore you pray that the day may come, when all people shall be gathered according to Jesus. Corruption and evil shall be away through their tables. Superstition shall no longer enslave the world, nor idolatry blind the eye. And all the world shall know that you alone and you shall stand, and every voice is your heads. May all created recognize that we are brothers and sisters, so that one spirit and one harmony, we may be forever united before you. Then shall your reign be established on earth, and the Lord of your nation all the people fill. Eternal God will reign forever and ever.
On that day, the Lord shall be one, and God's name shall be. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides, when fears dim our vision, grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's plan. Yet we know that both growth and decay, life and death, all reveal God's purpose. God, with our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. Have set eternal one before us and shall not despair. God's hands are the souls of all the living, under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. Life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts, that your spirit will abide and trust in you. Thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those who have friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, the 6 million who perished, the Shoah, and those of every race, nation, and faith, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. Anybody is observing a Shiva, 7-day mourning period. As far as Shloshim go, we remember Dr. Len Horowitz, board member, wonderful man. Anybody else is observing a Shloshim? As far as your sides go, Temple Israel remembers the following. Maury Horowitz and Tilly Horowitz were Dr. Len's parents. Paul Valenti, who was Lisa Lefkowitz's father. Daniel Scheinman, Dr. John Scheinman's father, right? June Horowitz, Len's spouse. And Wendell Becker was Pat Kenneth's father. Anybody else has a yahrzeit? Anybody online has a yahrzeit? The departed who we now remember have entered into the peace of life eternal, and still live on earth in the acts of goodness they perform in the hearts of those who cherish their memory. In the beauty of their lives, abide among us the loving benediction. Now, as a community of mourners, we turn to page 375, we join the ancient words of the Kaddish. Ibarah Rishtabah, Vikahar, Vikramam, Vikase, Vitadar, Vikalem, Vitah, Shmei, Shurafri, Elam, Vinko, Vikata, Shilata, Tushvekata, Venekata, Damiram, Gama, Vinu, Amen. Yehesh, Vamara, Shemaya, Vachaim, Aleim, Velavos, Israel, Vinu, Amen. Osei, Shalom, Vikramam. We ask the Shalom. Alleluia. May the source of peace and peace walk more, comfort all who are buried among us. Let us say, Amen. May you think of it. So we definitely have a donation memory of Wendell Becker by Ben, that I know, and I assume there was Daniel shining by Dr. John and those are the things I can think. I'm sure you can buy Paul Valenti by Lisa Lefkowiz. What else? I want to thank you for the music. I thank people who are just online. Many things happening. Tell us, John, what's going on?
Well, we're first of all, we're here, that's good. The trip to the Auschwitz exhibit is planned for September 10th. Tonight, I will ask Sally to send in money, and we'll revise the number to fit those available by tonight. I think that we've just gone up by 2 to 24 total, and the instructions were sent to everybody how to pay for it, and hopefully it will work out. Some have already done so. The high holidays, of course, we're making plans for. It will be in person. If you are not immunized, then first of all, masks will be mandatory. But if you are not immunized, and we'll be saying that, then we're going to segregate you distantly as well as masks to make sure that we're not trying to spread things around. Of course, the usual instructions are there that singing out loud without mask on, except for the cantor, has to do that, will be verboten. But I think we'll manage very well. We probably have some places for people to participate in the services, but Denise is chairman of that, and she's off to delivering her child to school.
Right, we'll be working on this weekend.
And so we need to put that in the program.
I know, that's what we'll be working on this week.
And thank you, Rabbi, for a lovely service, sermon, Theo for beautiful music. Thank you for Pat for lighting the candles again. Our favorite pyromaniac.
Did you
Shabbat
say
shalom.
it is or it is not going to be on Zoom as well?
On holiday. Yeah,
I'm sorry?
sure. It'll be on Zoom for sure.
I didn't understand this.
Holidays are gonna be on Zoom.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But as I understand it, not on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything? Anybody? No? Okay, so in that case, we conclude our service with
4:33, I think.
4:33 an hour. In concluding our service, I ask God's blessings upon us, יברכך אדוני וישמרך, may God bless us and keep us. יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, may God look kindly on us and ever be gracious to us. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישים לך שלום, may God shall stand on us and give us shalom, peace. Shabbat shalom. We now engage in Temple Israel's traditional battle of dinner, but I think we already have a plan.
Well, I make reservations, so it might be pretty popular on Friday night.
Do
you remember the name of the place, John?
I don't remember the name.
I found it by just putting in, Haitian restaurant 36 and one.
I forgot the name of it though. So I can't call it. Where is it?
I think it's like $5 or something like that.
MESOB.
Meso. Yes. That's right here. Shabbat shalom, people.